Hello, everyone, and welcome to Evergreen Off-Prem. I'm Ray Hatch, Vice President, Vertical Markets for Comcast Business Enterprise Solutions, and I'm honored to introduce this session today. Now that we understand how critically important off-prem revenues are, how do we prioritize and optimize every aspect for the long term? Now, I'm especially excited about this panel as restaurants have expanded beyond their four walls, as Comcast Business has dedicated itself to supporting innovative applications through a robust, secure network, which has become foundational to a high-performance off-prem experience. This powerhouse panel is moderated by Anna Wolf, Senior Editor of Hospitality Technology. Anna is joined by Destinee Rollins, Senior Director of Marketing for Twin Peaks Restaurants, Dave Harris, CIO of Shake Shack, and Tamy Duplantis, CIO of Return on Information Consulting. Please join me in welcoming our panelists today.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Evergreen Off-Prem panel discussion. Today, I have with me Destinee Rollins, Senior Director of Marketing at Twin Peaks Restaurants. Hi, Destinee.
Hello.
And Dave Harris, CIO of Shake Shack. Hey, Dave.
Hi, Anna.
Hi. And Tamy Duplantis, CIO from Return on Information Consulting. Thank you all for being here today. You know, restaurants of all stripes are pivoting to off-prem, and including, drive-thru, curbside, and to-go operations. Delivery continues to grow, but what we've seen through research is that the majority of consumers prefer to pick up their off-premises orders. We're happy to talk with you all today to get your input and your experience and insights about this growing segment. So thank you so very much for your time today. Destinee, I'm going to start with you. Could you tell us a little bit about Twin Peaks, the brand, what it's known for, and how you've, really pivoted to off-prem in recent months?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having us. Twin Peaks is a real experiential brand. We are a sports bar. We serve made from scratch food, 29-degree draft beer, and we have beautiful Twin Peaks girls who serve up an amazing experience. So when COVID struck the restaurant industry in March, no sports. We had to close our restaurants, and we had really tried the to-go approach for a short period of time. However, we didn't have online ordering, we didn't have the proper packaging in place, and our teams really didn't have any of the tools that they needed to be successful at the time. So we really had to do some major pivoting at that time.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the technology that you've added in recent months?
Yeah, absolutely. So Twin Peaks, we put our brand to sleep in March, and that really set off our partnership there with One Dine, actually, and it set it into high gear, I guess you could say. And our team, our marketing team, and our IT team, and our operations team really collaborated a lot during this time to put a framework together of what we wanted to do as far as it goes for our guests when we were able to reopen our restaurants. We knew that we wanted to provide an online ordering element. Curbside ordering was really on the rise during the COVID time frame for those that were still open during COVID time period of restaurant closures. We knew we wanted to implement a contactless pay element, and then an area that once many of our stores had to move towards printed single-use menus. We knew that we really needed to lean towards some of those browsable menus in store, so we didn't have to continue to print those single pieces of paper and go through that process. So we implemented all of those pieces along with delivery through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Postmates. And when we were able to reopen our dining restaurants, we were able to relaunch and reopen our stores with all of those pieces in place. So it took our teams from end of March to end of June when we began to relaunch all of our reopen all of our restaurants again. And it certainly, the COVID time frame that we were closed certainly expedited all of our initiatives that we had in play.
Sure, absolutely. Understood. Dave, can you tell us a little bit about the contactless solutions that Shake Shack has optimized and added in recent months?
Sure, there's lots of things. We've been very busy. I think one of the things we were able to do is that allowed us to pivot quite quickly is to take something we already had and use that in a new way. So for example, we have a kiosk in many of our restaurants. It's a tablet with our own custom built software on it. And we were able to take that same software, put it on a smaller tablet with a contactless payment device, and then allow our team to take orders from guests outside the restaurant while dining rooms were closed. So I think things like that have really helped us build off what we had and pivot quickly.
Awesome. Tamy, could you talk to us about contactless payments and some of the best practices and things that restaurants need to watch out for, as online ordering fraud is unfortunately on the rise, and with it, the number of chargebacks that restaurants are experiencing?
Yes, that is definitely a growing problem with online payment for sure. So best practice number one is chip readers in your restaurants. So as these guys have been speaking about, that provides you with contactless payment. But anytime you have card not present, which an online transaction is card not present, the chargebacks will increase. And we've seen that. So a few things we've done is tried to accelerate the rollout of the chip readers. And we negotiated, we were fortunate to be working with a brand, Bonchon, kind of an up and coming fast watch brand. And we were rolling out a tech stack and accelerated the rollout of the chip readers, but we also had negotiated a new deal with a credit card processor. And in that we had a chargeback cap or protection. So for one monthly fee, that is all you pay for what could be $25 to $50 per transaction. And then realize that, if you have a lot of franchisees or small franchisees, they may not be accustomed to how to handle chargebacks. So it was a real training opportunity to educate everyone on how to go to your online credit card processor portal and look every day for how many chargebacks you had and dispute those. We got a lot of information from WorldPay, one of the biggest credit card processors you guys are probably all familiar with, and they referred to this growing trend as friendly fraud. People who wouldn't normally be crooks are basically going online, ordering food, realizing there's no card present, and they're then calling their credit card company saying that wasn't me. So I think education and teaching folks to refute the chargebacks for sure. One other thing we learned was that the data protocol between your online payment engine and your processor can contain any of a number of fields. The CVV code, is it the zip code? Kind of like you key your zip code in when you get gas, right? However many of those components are included, can also further reduce authorizing the card when it's falsely being used. So those are some of the things we've been able to do. Yeah,
those are great tips. Great tips. Thank you. So Dave, I know Shake Shack's had a lot of very big news recently, including the addition of curbside and the unveiling of the Shack Track experience. Can you tell us about that?
Sure, absolutely. It's something we're super excited about. And all these initiatives, Shack Track, curbside, they're all about broadening and simplifying the guest pickup experience. We want to make it easy to pick up your order and to give guests that great Shake Shack hospitality. But let's go through the three elements. So for curbside, this is a new feature in our mobile app, and where it's available, a guest can select that they want curbside pickup. They tell us a little bit of information about the car they're coming in, and then finish their order as normal. That information goes to the team in the Shack, and when the order's complete, they have all of the details of the car. When the guest arrives at the Shack, they go into their app, they hit a button that says, "I'm here." That alerts the team in the restaurant that the guest has arrived, and then we bring your food right out to you. So great experience. We've now got it rolled out at over 60 restaurants. Our guests love it. The second one is Shack Track, the pickup window. So first of these has been installed at a restaurant we have in downtown Los Angeles. And this basically allows you the flexibility to just not come into the restaurant to pick up your food, but walk up to the window, let us know you're there, and then pick up your order. We're also putting in those windows, we're trying a new order status screen. So it's very easy to see the status of your order at a glance. And finally, to come, there's a drive-through version of the Shack Track window, or a drive-up version, I should say. Pretty much the same thing as the walk-up window, but don't have to get out of your car. We're looking to open 8 to 10 more of these Shack Tracks, I think, this year, and you'll see us from them in the future as well. So lots of different things going on, and then next year we've got drive-through to come as well. So not too much to say on that today. It's kind of it'll be drive-through with that Shake Shack hospitality, and more to come on it next year.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely stay tuned for those updates. The Shack Track experience is powered by an enhanced digital ordering. Can you tell us what that means?
Sure, absolutely. In the app, we've created the experience for guests to select their preferred pickup type from what's available. That's in the app. For team members, we wanted to make sure that the team members knew who had selected curbside service, respond to a guest when they say they've arrived, and to know what type of car they were in to help find the guest to give them their food. Also, I mentioned the order status screens we're adding, so it's easier to see the status of your order. But really what's important in all of these things is that we really have great systems integration. It's very important that all of these different systems talk to each other. So the information we're getting from our guests and they're giving to us about, for example, the car they're coming in to pick up their curbside order is available to the team in the Shack, and then they can bring it out when the guest arrives. So important to have all those pieces talk to each other in the way they do.
Awesome. Tamy, let's get your 2 cents. What should brands be doing now and in the future to optimize their digital ordering?
Well, I think it's with digital being 30+% of most restaurants' revenue right now, I think it's really important to focus on elimination of all of the risk factors to mitigate all of those. And like Dave said, integration is huge. And in order for integration to work from the mobile phone in someone's hand walking down the sidewalk outside your restaurant, outside your Shake Shack, to actually placing that order and walking in and picking it up, there's just a lot of technology threaded together between that. And I think the networks are important. So, we've been rolling out a standardized network with 4G failover and solid Wi-Fi so that tablets are always on and integration is always on, and making sure that one of the things I see restaurants doing is making sure that their menu is optimized as well. And so making sure that the items that are on the menu are the most profitable and easy for the kitchen to execute, and also they are guest favorites.
Awesome. That makes total sense. Destinee, I wanted to ask you, what kind of technology do you plan to add or update to reduce friction in the guest experience?
Yeah, so right now we have recently launched so many different pieces of technology. We're not necessarily focused on adding additional elements, but optimizing what we currently have. There are, a great number of tools, programs, unique menus for each store. Right now we currently use our QR code browsable in-store menu, and we want to continue to enhance that guest experience for those who are inside of our restaurants as well. Twin Peaks being a very experiential brand, we still have we have a ton of our guests still coming in and watching sports now that they're back on and elements like that. So we want to still be able to cater to those guests with a similar experience that they would also see maybe as an online menu. So being able to have a good, I guess, good experience across the board, whether it's their in-store experience, their curbside ordering experience that they would see, having some level of consistency across all of our different opportunities for our guests to utilize Twin Peaks when ordering is really our biggest focus at this point.
And Dave, do you have anything to add on that front?
You know, I think just super important to make sure that we're continuing to listen to guests and continuing to optimize the experience. I think, you know, particularly with digital tools, with apps and online ordering, it's continually improving, learning what works for guests, where we can make it more efficient, easier to order, and remove that friction. So it's very much a journey of continual improvement, and it's super important to follow that. It's it never seems to be done.
That's always something to do, right? Always something to do. So Tamy, you know, we have two great brands represented here, two thought leaders in industry. You know, for restaurant technologists who are interested in, you know, learning more about, you know, best practices in off-premises, you know, what are some of the brands that should be on their radar to watch?
Well, I think some of the interesting things that I'm reading about is Brinker getting into the wing business and using their their very big backbone of kitchens to launch kind of a virtual wing brand. I think that's kind of innovative and cool. There's a concept down in Miami called Reef Kitchens, and they're basically food trailers, and they use their parking garages and parking lots all over the country, and they provide virtual kitchens, but they also provide ghost kitchens for other concepts. I think that was kind of ahead of its time. I think Chipotle is interesting. I was reading about their loyalty program and also working with a brand called Bonchon, and I think it's interesting to see these kind of these brands that are leveraging kind of their fan base. And whether it's you're into Chipotle because you're really into healthy, which we're trying to get into healthy lately. Everybody's trying to lose their COVID-19 pounds. I'm one of those. But I think those are some brands that I find the stories are pretty interesting about recently.
Yeah, absolutely. I should add that Wade Allen from Brinker International is also participating in Restaurant Next, and he does talk about you know, it's just wings, and you know, how they rolled that out to over 1,000 locations extremely quick. So it's definitely worth listening to if you haven't already. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. That's the final question before we jump into our Q&A segment. So please stay tuned.